Hello garden friends and friends of garden friends. Holiday shopping is in full swing right now, and if you still do not have a present for the gardener in your life, I am here to help. In this video, I am going to show you my recommendations on what to get as well as what not to get. Hope you stick around. Welcome to my Central Texas oasis. First, let me start with what not to get, and that's gardening gloves. And why? Also, gardeners, if you're watching, please let me know in the comments if you agree. But basically, the reason is that the person you are buying for most likely already has at least one pair. Gloves are one of those things that you buy first when you first decide to get into gardening. I have a couple of pairs myself, and they come in handy sometimes, but honestly not all that much. You see, many gardeners, myself included, do not like using gardening gloves at all. Part of the fun of gardening is being able to get up close and personal with nature, and so for me and many others, gloves prevent being able to adequately feel the consistency of the soil and its moisture levels, or feel around the plant's roots, or handle delicate seedlings. There are also many different kinds of gloves with very different thickness levels and materials that they are made of, and they all feel different on your hands, so it's easy to get something that your recipient will strongly dislike, especially if they are on the neurodivergent spectrum. Also, if you ever broke a plate because you were wearing rubber gloves for washing the dishes, you'll also know that people have different levels of tactile sensitivity, or in other words, different levels of the ability to feel stuff through the glove. The type of glove one may need can also vary depending on the type of plant that they want to use it for. For instance, if it's a very thorny plant, or on the other hand, if it's a very fragile and delicate plant, those will be completely different gloves. Garden gloves are an item that's far more personal than most people realize. So if you don't want your gift to end up in that person's garden graveyard, you may want to skip the gloves. Item number 2 that you may want to avoid are chemicals such as pesticides and insecticides. The reason you may want to avoid this is that many of us are organic gardeners, which means we stay away from certain products and prefer to work with nature rather than correcting it with chemicals. However, even within the organic gardening community, there is a huge spectrum of what people will use. Some people are team zero pesticides no matter what, while others will happily use like a little neem oil when dealing with an infestation. Same goes for fertilizers. Even if you talk to two gardeners who on the surface subscribe to the same gardening philosophy, they may still have widely different opinions on what kind of fertilizers are fine to use. That being said, there are a few products from this category that will make every single gardener very happy regardless of their preferred gardening method. And that brings us to the gift recommendation number 1. Number 1. Stuff like fish emulsion, kelp meal, seaweed extract, which I'm out at this moment, and worm castings are wonderful soil amendments that are universally appreciated by gardeners of all styles and methods. You really can't go wrong with those things. You can pick any brand you like, and they are widely available online, including Amazon. Additionally, every single gardener I ever met also really appreciates Fox Farm products. Even though a lot of these items are liquid, they actually are a good size, not too big, so they will fit very well under the tree, and they go a long way because you only ever use like about a tablespoon at a time. Another note is that they may be hard to come by in big box stores such as Lowe's or Home Depot, but you should be able to find them quite easily in local nurseries. Gift idea on what to get, number 2, are plants, which sounds almost too obvious, right? But Central and South Texas has a very unique climate with great weather extremes, which many plants find difficult to survive. But there is a group of plants that don't care and in fact thrive here. And no, it's not just cacti. There is a wide selection of native plants as a whole that are beautiful and resilient, and I have never met a gardener who disliked native plants. They not only add beauty, but they are also useful to the local ecosystem. They have been gaining in popularity, so chances are your gardener will be really excited about it. However, unless you are fairly confident you know what kind of plants your recipient may like, it may be more appropriate to give them a gift certificate to a local plant nursery, or better yet, a native local plant nursery. You might be tempted to go for Home Depot or Lowe's gift cards. After all, they have plants, right? Well, that's technically true. Local nurseries offer a much more diverse selection, including a wide array of herbs and veggies, which you are not very likely to find in those big box stores. You can sometimes, but not always. And the reason why most people get into gardening these days is because they want to grow their own produce. So that means you will best enable them to do so by going with a local nursery. Also, the varieties that the local nurseries offer tend to be more suitable to the local climate compared to big box stores, and at least in my experience, they can actually be cheaper. Plus, it's always better to support local businesses because you know that your purchase will directly support the very real people within your community. The large corporations don't need any more of your help. They're doing just fine. Trust me on that. Next on the list are seeds, especially seed collections and seed bundles. They are a fantastic gift idea, especially for a less experienced gardener or someone who loves experimenting or is building their seed collection. For instance, I consider myself a moderately experienced gardener. After all, I have a whole YouTube channel about it, so I have to know what I'm talking about, right? But that being said, I still have not tried everything that's out there, and I love trying out new varieties. There's so many options. Tomatoes are a great example because they are the #1 most popular vegetable to grow in North America, and there are literally hundreds of different varieties. In case this is starting to sound overwhelming, a great place to start, in my opinion, is, for example, the Botanical Interest website. So Botanical Interest has a lot of different seed collections, and I personally had great success with them. They're reliable seeds with good germination rates, and the packaging is, objectively speaking, gorgeous and therefore very suitable for a gift. For Texas, the heat-tolerant vegetable collection is the safest bet in my opinion, and I will be buying it for myself in general this spring. I also love their Moon Garden collection, which is a collection of flowers that bloom in white and are therefore great to enjoy after dark. And let's be real, in our part of Texas, especially in the summer, the outside tends to be bearable only after the sun goes down. One word of caution about the Moon Garden collection, though, is that some of the plants in this bundle are highly toxic to pets. So if the person you're buying for has some curious dogs or cats, it might be safer to avoid this particular selection. And trust me, I say this with a heavy heart because I would really love my own moonflower. I literally dream about it. And I mean literally. This flower appeared in my dreams several nights ago. Unfortunately, since this plant is very poisonous to actually both people and animals, if ingested, I need to stay away from it. I might be able to put it in the front yard actually, because I don't let my dogs roam the front yard unsupervised. But anyway, that's something to consider. Now, those people that have been gardening for decades tend to have their own seed banks from all of their previous harvests, and they may also have a very good idea of what they like and what they don't like, and what does well in the microclimate that is their garden. So for them, you may want to opt for a gift card to an online seed store or for a local nursery that carries a good selection of seeds. Number 4, quality gardening tools. Notice I said quality. That's because everything is bigger and more extreme in Texas. Our weather conditions are more extreme, which means that any tools accidentally left out must be able to withstand the elements. Our soil, depending on where exactly you live, tends to be either hard clay or rocky soil or caliche. And if you're really lucky, like me, you get both. This soil on my property is clay with lots and lots of rocks in it. It is very easy to break and bend tools trying to dig down, so they have to be very well made and durable. Examples of tools that will make great gifts are hori-hori knives, digging spades, and sharp pruners. On the topic of pruners, actually, something that gardeners don't often think about getting for themselves are bonsai pruners, which are very small and precise. They can come in handy even when you don't have a bonsai tree, when thinning out seedlings or making precise cuts on small stems. So get that for your person. You can thank me later. For me, my biggest workhorse is my garden trowel. I think it's really called a transplanter, but I use it to help me dig in my soil, and especially to get the rocks out of the holes, to loosen them out and get them out. And I think something like that would be extremely useful to anybody dealing with the rocky soil. On the bigger end, a digging fork is another thing that is very useful in a wide range of applications, not just digging. You just need to make sure it's super heavy duty because those tines can be prone to bending. Whatever you do, please stay away from places like Walmart or those Amazon listings that look just too good to be true. So this is an implement I got in a bundle from Walmart. I got a super cute print on it that's peeling, but honestly, I think it's a bit of a useless tool. I truly don't see this having a use in most Texas gardens. This is another tool that I got in the same vein. It's from Amazon. It's kind of sturdy at first glance, but it was no match for the rocks in my soil. These tines bent back and forth a million times, which makes it quite useless. So you're probably not surprised to hear that it's better to go for one great quality tool than a bundle of a bunch of flimsy little tools that will very quickly end up in the trash. Number 5, a garden kneeler or seat. There's really not much to say about it except that people of all ages benefit from these. They make gardening a lot more comfortable. For me, I like this retractable stool, which is lightweight and I can transport it anywhere I want as I'm moving around my garden, and I especially use it for when I have to dig in the ground because it's not as easy as just digging with a shovel. I need to sit down and use that garden trowel to really pick those rocks out. So I love that stool for sitting. For this, you can find great options on Amazon, which is where I got my stool as well. Number 6 is a harvest basket. Now this is one of those items that not all gardeners find justification to spend money on themselves, but all gardeners will be very happy to receive. It is useful to everyone growing veggies and other edible plants, but even somebody growing flowers for cutting will appreciate having a basket to hold them as they cut the flowers to bring them inside. Try to go for natural and/or sustainable materials such as wood or rust-proof steel or recycled plastic. A clamming basket, such as this one from Botanical Interests, is by far the most popular style right now, and I would low-key love one for myself. You can also commission a personalized one from Etsy, but make sure it arrives before Christmas because, you know, those holidays, they do sneak up on you. Number 7 is birdhouses, bird feeders, and bird baths. Backyard bird watching is an enjoyable and, let's be honest, increasingly useful pastime in the summer when it's way too hot to truly enjoy being outside, because you can watch the birds from the comfort of your air-conditioned home. So you may consider gifting a well-crafted birdhouse or bird feeder to encourage local birds to visit. Bird baths supply precious water and can even save some bird lives in periods of extended drought. Plus, having an easily accessible buffet of seeds and water helps keep the birds off of your produce. So if your recipient has been having issues with birds getting to the vegetables they grow before they do, that may actually help. Since we're talking about bird feeders, I have to mention squirrels. If you know, you know. They are a menace, no matter how cute, all over the country, but the ones in Texas are something else. So if you buy bird feed, choose the spicy kind. And yes, that's really a thing, because birds do not detect capsaicin, which is what makes spicy peppers spicy. This substance is only effective against mammals, and that means squirrels. So after a few attempts, they should leave the bird feeder alone, or they may develop a taste for food with a kick. Gift idea number 8 is gardening books. And yes, books. Yes, we have the internet, but it's not always actually easy to find reliable, complete information on the internet that is suitable to our unique climate. So a book written by somebody who knows what's going on in this area may really close some knowledge gaps. For experienced gardeners, you can give them a book dedicated to a specific topic to further expand their knowledge. So for instance, if they like cacti and agaves and stuff like that, you can get them a book about the native Texas species of cacti and agaves, and there is a really good chance that they will learn something new. Number 9, rain barrels. Rain barrels are not only environmentally friendly, but also practical, especially in Central Texas. They collect rainwater, which can then be used later to irrigate the garden during dry periods. That lowers the homeowner's water bill and also eases the strain on our aquifers. If you do decide to get a rain barrel, I recommend that you do not get the ones made of fabric. They easily collapse and become completely useless in the violent downpours that we often get here. Last recommendation, number 10, is local art for the garden. So things such as decorative sculptures, wind chimes, or handmade pottery are all ways to add a personal touch and celebrate the vibrant artistic community we have here in Central Texas. This is another one of those things that is not necessary in a literal sense, so many gardeners don't have room in their budget for it. And that, in my opinion, makes it a great gift idea, especially because it's a non-consumable item, meaning it will enrich the space around it for years to come. To make the right choice, take a peek at what's already in your recipient's garden. Is it, for example, modern and minimalistic and has like clean lines and concrete elements? Or are they more partial to color? For example, the colorful Mexican style pottery that is popular especially around San Antonio. As long as you consider your recipient's personal style, they are almost guaranteed to enjoy this tangible item that will remind them of you every time they look at it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to you. Regardless of what you give to the gardener in your life, they will definitely appreciate that you took the time to think about who they are and what matters to them, and that you honored that. And now, sure, an Amazon gift card is the easiest way out, but it's way too easy to spend it on random little necessities or items that will not be memorable to the recipients in the long run. Whereas if you give them a gift card to a more specialized store, you are gifting them with a more curated experience, and it feels much more special. A quick argument for that is the story about how when I graduated from high school, with honors of course, my grandma wanted to give me something that would commemorate that, and so she wanted to give me jewelry. But she didn't feel confident that she would be able to choose the right type of jewelry that I would like. She is a 70-something-year-old woman at the time, and I was a teenager, and she felt very out of touch with what the kids liked at that point in time. So she gave me a sum of money, and she told me to go and pick out a set of earrings with a necklace. So I did. I showed her that, and she said, "Good, very nice. Now remember, this is my gift to you for graduating high school." And to this day, I do still remember, anytime I look at this jewelry set, I remember that that's the jewelry I got from my grandma for graduating high school, even though she didn't actually go and pick it out herself. This story was obviously not garden related, but the point I'm trying to make is that even if you give somebody a gift card, they will still appreciate it and think of you every time they use the stuff that they bought with that money, as long as the gift card is for a specific store, such as a gardening website or your local nursery. Had my grandma not been specific about what she wanted me to do with the money she gave me, I would probably have spent it on something that I would quickly forget about, and I wouldn't have anything to show for it anymore. And this is my argument against copying out via an Amazon, Target, or Walmart gift card. Well, that's it. Hopefully I made your life a little bit easier with these gift ideas. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful, and I'm also happy to provide more specific suggestions if you'd like, or review any ideas you have if you just want a gut check from someone. Just let me know in the comments. Gardeners, if you are watching, please let me know in the comments if you agree with my suggestions and whether you are pro-glove or anti-glove. If you didn't hate this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for future videos, and maybe share it to your family group text and social media. After all, gardening is a hobby that has been gaining in popularity in the recent years, so you never know just how many gardeners you may have in your network. And so there may be many people you know that are struggling just like you to pick the right present for the gardening in your life, and by sharing this video, you will be helping them. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and very happy holidays. Remember to stay grounded, don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it, and make sure you take some time to relax this holiday season and enjoy yourself. Hopefully, I'll see you in my next video, but if not, I thank you for joining me in this video regardless. I really appreciate it. Take care. Bye.